Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Baked Disney, the best of Disney Baked Fresh Daily. I am staring at a sign, the menu for the Riverbell Terrace. Why do you ask? Am I doing that? Why am I opening the show looking at the menu for Riverbell Terrace? I can't even speak. Well, Ian, I know you were asking me that very question, right?
Oh, yes. I was saying, David, why are we starting?
What are you doing, David?
Terrace?
Some things they get right, some things they get wrong at Disneyland. They got a lot right. This, New Orleans Square, they crushed it.
Yeah.
They crushed it. And one of the reasons why I'm starting here at River is because we don't even know what land Riverbell Terrace is in.
I mean, officially on the map, it's listed as Frontierland.
It is a Frontierland?
Yes.
I would disagree with that. I would disagree with that with all of my heart. But it could be
a genuine case that can be made for either.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that, that's why we're here, because they have done such a magnificent job of blending this into 3 different lands all at once.
Yeah.
Adventureland on the other side, right?
Yeah.
New Orleans Square, it fits perfectly right here with Pirates of the Caribbean, and obviously you think it's, or they say it's...
Frontierland, and the facade blends into Frontierland as well.
Yeah.
And it works very well because it's very much a southern river thing, which geographically is getting near that
you could put
intersection
that,
the deep south, New Orleans,
many states.
and the frontier.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the down jungles of South America and the Caribbean with Adventureland.
Yep.
Right, it all merges together.
Hi guys.
They could have very easily gotten this wrong.
Yeah.
It very easily could have felt like it all clashed. And I've heard some people who feel that Pirates Big Bunny up against Adventureland doesn't work. I disagree. I think
not at all.
I think going down that side and having a jungle on the left works very well.
Not at all. They got this. I mean, they got everything right here. The way, So I don't even know where to begin with New Orleans Square, other than, you know, at the Riverbell and then Pirates of the Caribbean by extension, definitely New Orleans Square. But yeah, they've done so many good things with this whole, I mean, look, right here.
The land works for both wide shots and vertical, in that there's a verticality to the land, as well as a width to it. Like,
yeah. No, you're right, and it feels like it shouldn't in a lot of senses, but I think a lot of that has to do with the river.
How it actually technically is. It manages to feel a lot wider and larger than it is, partly because the way it wraps around the river, so it feels more like
well, it feels like the land subsumes the river, even though it's not technically part of it.
Also because it blends so well with Frontier. So
it takes on all the...
half of the park is just perfection.
Yeah.
It transitions and ebbs and flows so naturally that you don't think about the fact you just transitioned.
Yeah.
You walk from the Frontier into New Orleans and into Credit Country, and at no point does it feel jarring or weird.
Not even for a minute.
It's natural, and like that's how it's supposed to be.
And every element that you take in as you come down here, from the river to Tom Sawyer's Island, the Mark Twain, the Columbia, it all feels like it belongs here, the way it should. That's how it should be.
On paper, it shouldn't.
No,
on paper, those things should be clashing and it shouldn't work.
And that kind of goes towards our conversation from yesterday about the qualitative values of certain things that you can't necessarily put on a spreadsheet. You can't say this is how this is gonna, how it's gonna feel or whatever. You just got to build it and see what happens.
And even then, not all of this was like this until they reworked this for Fantasmic. Right, some of these
That's true, yeah, you're right.
Walkways,
yeah.
This stuff came in, the early 90s?
That's true, this was all flat right here.
Yeah, this came in, around 92 when Fantasmic opened. Even that, as it's grown, has readapted.
The entrance to Pirates was
these
right
tiered
here.
paths here.
I love this, by the way. And now, is this considered a problem for guest flow? These bisected.
It can be during showtime or when the queue is extended. So on particularly busy days, it can be rough.
Yeah. I feel like these little areas that kind of bisect the walkways are just gorgeous. I just love it so much.
It also gives the idea of these carefully curated parks, fenced parks, like you might find walking around New Orleans.
And it doesn't take much to you just put a few elements here, some hedgerows, a statue, some well-themed plants, and
lantern posts.
Golly. This tree, right? Does this tree grow here?
I mean, it is now.
Well, I mean, but it's not
native
indigenous to Southern California,
right? Remember when we took that horticulture tour years ago now?
That tree right there was brought in from where? From San Diego or something? I don't know.
A piece of an oil pipeline, and because the pipeline went through the roots, they cut it.
They couldn't. I don't feel like this belongs here in Southern
California. It feels
California.
like it belongs in New Orleans.
It absolutely does.
And that's
the sort of Spanish moss kind of features like that.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. Let's go into the land here. Let's walk down Royal Street. Balconies for no good reason. They don't need those at all.
We won't mention the window that doesn't open up to the Club 33 in my green.
Wait, which window?
The window one out here in the front, where the windows are they're not centered properly because when
right, yeah. I know,
they prioritize centering the window inside the club instead of outside on the facade.
Yeah.
They also closed off the Court of Angels, and I'll still never forgive them for that.
Yeah. This is.
The moment you start to walk down this alley, partly because it narrows, it's all encompassing.
Fantastic.
You're somewhere else.
You feel like you are in New Orleans, right? I mean, I've never been.
As close as the sense of winding, small, narrow, very intimate streets.
Authentic.
And that's
Baton Rouge.
Sense of small, wandering alleyways where anything could be around the corner with little unique shops. Granted, some of the shop offerings have been better at different times over the history, but you still get that sense walking through.
It's still, I mean, at least they maintain the aesthetic of it. You know, they may have changed the interior product that they're selling. It's the dress shop basically in Baton Rouge now. But I mean, at least it's still this. And you know, I was just noticing like
the potted plants.
Somebody said, "Hey, this goes here." I'm so impressed by that. I don't know why. I'm just so really impressed.
How I try to see.
I know, right? People take that stuff for granted so much. Like somebody made a decision. Somebody said this plant in that pot goes there.
Thinking about this kind of stuff is how I don't get tired of the park because I force myself to have that sense of wonder every day.
Right.
I always say, wait. And even if I would say, you know what? Let's just pretend I'm a kid and I think everything's real again. I'm serious. Let's let my imagination trigger all the nervous fears while I'm on Pirates. Oh God, the thing is gonna fall. Let's just engage that. And be like, this is amazing.
And you're the robot of the group too.
Yeah, we say that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. People misunderstand you. They really do.
I feel things very deeply.
I get the same thing. I get the same thing.
Things very deeply.
I know. I do too. I'm bringing light on that subject because we kind of make fun of that.
This intersection. Right here. You turn around in this direction. Mm-hmm. Not this one anymore.
No, this used to be lovely.
But you keep turning around and there's a story that way. There's a story over there. There's a story down that around the
There's somebody was. You know what? let me look for it. Hold on. Guy right there. I don't know what that is, what he's doing, who that is, or what that even says. Can you read that?
Disneyland. I'm trying to see the word. Some fire department. Disneyland Fire Department.
Somebody said there's a story behind that thing, and there's a story behind that Y right there, that's on the wall, and that little plaque. That Y that's on the wall, and that little plaque to its left. Like you were saying, you go everywhere you go in here, there's nuances that some genius just said, this goes here.
That's why from a creative standpoint, the fact that Scott Trowbridge has mentioned that New Orleans Square is a big inspiration for
I sure
the
hope
town
so.
of Batu.
Yeah.
That's super encouraging. Now, the traffic flow, potentially that's less encouraging, but from an artistic standpoint, the fact that he said, I want to say in an interview or somewhere that New Orleans Square was a big inspiration for creating that intimate sense of walking.
That gives me hope because, you know, Trowbridge coming from Universal and from Transformers.
Also Hogsmeade.
And also Hogsmeade, you're right, also Hogsmeade. So he knows how to incorporate lore.
Yeah, and before Transformers, the Spider-Man ride, which is also excellent.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Spider-Man ride is the same ride system as Transformers.
All right. All right, let's go back in.
I don't know if you've ever seen some like the making up behind the scenes footage from
I haven't.
how it's being done.
No.
Man had a mullet.
Who, Trowbridge?
Yeah, he was like another person, and that's not mocking. It's just it's very different.
Mullet changes a man. Mullet changes a man.
Like
it does.
You were a different person then. I'm not saying that's better or worse, but you were a different person.
I almost feel like I wish this were bigger. But I guess I could say that about a lot of things. I want more of this, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
You know, just more.
That's why I love some of the country pavilions at Epcot, because you get some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Which is why people love Epcot, because a lot of these, like this type of feeling is incorporated into many different cultures.
Yeah.
And you get that same sort of idea. And
The Morocco pavilion.
yeah, right. I've seen the stuff that Laramie did from there. I was like, that's fantastic. Because I haven't been to Epcot since I was, it's been almost 30 years.
The Canada one, there's
Canada, yeah.
There's not as much shopping facades.
Yeah.
But it goes back deeper than the pavilion goes back further and deeper than you expect.
Yeah.
And then now you're looking at it looks like a mountain waterfall.
Yeah. It's the northwest part of Canada. Is that right?
But yeah, it was this art of creating a bigger space out of a physically small area.
Yeah.
Right.
Masters at it. This is, it's the benchmark. New Orleans Squares. But not to mention the fact that they've also got the two greatest attractions you'll ever find in a Disney park.
The live band entertainment in New Orleans Square.
French Market.
This is the most
they took the lid
atmosphere.
off. This tree, Ian. I feel like Donkey and Shrek right now. I love that tree.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly themed tree for New Orleans Square.
But it's been here long enough that it genuinely has history. Yeah. Right.
It belongs. It look at the scene that they've created for us right here with the fountain and the trees and the. My God, I'm just feeling it so much right now. It's so perfect. And as usual, that's why I always tell folks, and you do the same. Okay, go on Haunted Mansion, but don't forget to observe and take in what you're experiencing which is why they build the queues today the way they are, so that you can take in more of that while you're waiting in line.
Yeah.
They
tried going the interactive route, but that had its own problems of people stopping in the queue and not moving forward.
Right.
That's kind of the balance of queue theories. Right? You want to accommodate and keep things moving, but also it's an interesting challenge.
That's why I kind of when they talk about Galaxy's Edge and there's only 2 attractions, I kind of feel like you're selling it short in that sense, because it's more than just the ride.
Well, I do think in terms of capacity, there should have been a 3rd attraction.
Well, but that the capacity is, in my opinion, part of that is the long queue. That's also eating people, not just both things are happening. You're getting 4 shows in a way. You're getting the pre-show and then the show, and then the pre-show and then the show. Yeah. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like that's.
I see pre-show as part of the overall attraction experience, so I still consider that one thing.
Well, I guess what I'm pointing at is you're right, and like Tiki Room, for example.
Yeah, the garden to me is 100% part of it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Haunted Mansion, this whole thing that happens, with the stretching room and all that, is part of the show. But in terms of the way it consumes people, you're making a bigger building. So let's say Haunted Mansion, I'm just going to put out numbers, holds 1,000 people, all right, inside the queue while you're waiting to go in the ride. And then there's another, 500 people in the ride. I don't even know what the number is.
I don't know enough about the ride capacity to say that's.
I can't do the math. I can't do the math off the top of my head.
That's totally wildly off base.
But you could probably fit 3,000 people in the rise queue. And then 500 in the actual ride. So even though you feel like you could get more people to do stuff in a second attraction, the queue itself is such an attraction that it's going to consume 3 times as many people, I feel like.
Well, they want to make shopping an attraction now too.
I'm good with that.
It's much just funny wording to me.
Yeah, I know. Right, you're right.
And not that early Disneyland was any stranger to trying to incentivize sales.
No, yeah, he was down.
Well, there's the story of Walt going into clothiers and saying, "Turn the temperature down, so people are more likely to buy clothes."
Because they're cold. They went. Yeah. That's a Walt thing for sure. I believe him.
It's like they're any strangers to that.
Yeah.
It is so funny to hear that attitude. Shopping's an attraction.
Well, then look when you go into the shops. Half the fun is, like I said, looking around and looking at the theming of the shop. This was somewhere else, wasn't it?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I believe this is. Unless I know Austin Mansion opened several years after New Orleans Square initially.
Right.
Because the facade was built, but the ride was not open for several years.
I don't remember where we were, but you brought up a point that I wanted to talk about when we got here, and that is people are concerned about Galaxy's Edge
Yeah.
opening in phases.
Yeah. And there is precedent for it. I would,
Right here.
Yes. I would also argue, though, the way fandom and public awareness of theme parks was wildly different.
Yep,
at that
that's
time
true,
than it is
but
now.
still.
People didn't follow closely every single thing on the internet.
Yeah.
No, it opens then. I want to be there opening day because I have a social following I want to show it to.
Yep.
The dynamics of how people went to theme parks is also very different.
That's
so
true.
There's precedent, but the situation is also not entirely comparable.
No, but it was also more extreme. So how many years, Ian?
It was at least 2, but it was a good number.
They had announced the attraction a solid 2 years at least, before they opened it.
Though at that distance and phase, they just become 2 separate openings at that point.
Yeah.
It's less, we opened it and then the next thing came right behind it.
Yep.
At that point, they're 2 separate openings. I'm not sure how to word it.
No, I got you. But I think it goes towards, you can be concerned or whatever, but the main thing is the product. And that'll trump anything. If the product is good, Haunted Mansion, we'll wait and we'll love it. And we'll forget that it was late. Or that it didn't open the same time as everything else.
The concern isn't that it will affect things long term. It's, I mean, for me, it's just from concern for the cast members who have to deal with it.
Well, that's
it's that cast members getting yelled at by guests who maybe didn't research it, or just they missed the information, so they didn't know.
Or they just don't know.
Yeah, or they don't know, and so they have this expectation. Oh, it's opening on this date, and I heard about these 2 rides, right? And they come, wait, only one's open?
Yeah.
But
you got a whole new land.
That's the most impressive thing ever. Why isn't the most impressive thing ever open? I want it, right?
And that's going to happen.
People do that.
That will happen. Yeah. There will be a percentage of people.
And there's a certain level of unavoidableness to that.
Literal hands on hips, just like that too.
But much louder and much more angrier and much more entitled to the voice.
But they got it right, man. They built the Haunted Mansion. They built New Orleans Square. They built Pirates of the Caribbean, and it is as close to perfection as I can imagine. It gets a little tight here during Fantasmic. That's about the only thing I could think of. That's a little scary sometimes, but. Because you got people standing instead of walking.
Yes.
But other than that, I mean, plus you have Disneyland Railroad Station here.
We didn't even mention how the dynamics of the train coming in and out, having the additional buildings and facades behind it, coming in on the train, past facades into the station.
Yep. It's perfection. I can't think of a better way. I'm so glad that you brought that up with Trowbridge. I didn't know he had said that. So that gives me. I mean, it's too late to wonder, I guess. I mean, the die is cast, but still, I'm like, okay, well, at least I know that he's got his heart in the right place.
Yeah. No, I don't for a second doubt his intents.
Yeah.
Or even the creative side of it. My concerns about this have always been from an operational perspective, not from a creative
choke
perspective.
Points.
Yeah.
Things like that.
They made very clear that they are 100% putting the creative energy and effort behind it. My concern about anything has always been for the operational side of it.
Well, that and also their ability to stick with that thing that they're trying to do.
Those commitments over time, like the merch or the food.
Right. The theming.
To commit to that over multiple years of budget changes.
Right. Yeah, that'll happen. But in the meantime, I mean,
that's on the operational side.
Yeah, New Orleans Square survived that kind of thing.
It becomes more in the hands of Team Disney Anaheim and Park Ops.
Yeah.
It changes hands out of Imagineering's direct control.
Yeah.
They probably have some influence, but it becomes more about the day-to-day operation of Team Disney Anaheim and Park Ops to say, what do we want to do? What are we willing to invest in this on a day-to-day yearly basis?
Yeah. Before about the sort of layered.
Yeah.
Like right here, this.
The tiered
this is fantastic.
Creates this verticality to the land.
Yeah.
It's not everything's on the same plane. You have the tiers to it.
Here, you got it, son. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. That was one of the things I observed when I saw some of that video from ABC, was that you could see that they had incorporated a lot of that. Trowbridge, maybe he's learning from New Orleans Square. He incorporated, there are many levels, layers. There's verticality to it, And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's so great. That's so cool. And it's a thing that you may or may not take for granted.
Theme park design is just such a fascinating.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to know everything I possibly can about it, because
But this,
Like I say, it's not just as simple as, look, this has a character on it, or it has the
right.
or has the colors of the movie.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment that engages you on every level.
Yep, and you love this, and you don't even know why. You know, an engineer might, or somebody who's in that creative mindset who does that for a living might know why. But as a layman, I don't know why I love it, but I just know that I do. You know, and that's one of the ways you don't see this in any other land. There's no verticality like this. You know, in Adventureland or Frontierland, really. Tomorrowland.
Not quite. I mean, you can get places of it. For example, by going up to the treehouse.
Well, right, but just in the normal landscape.
Attractions.
Yeah.
Just from the landscape itself now.
Right.
I'm not counting the Small World Mall because the Small World Mall serves only as a viewing area. Again, it helps in that walkway, but it's one area, not the whole land.
It's not, but
it's
there's
good for that area. It doesn't affect the whole land.
It doesn't have the difference between that and this is that you can't walk behind. Yeah. Like this is all part of the walkway. The Small World Mall isn't a walkway per se. It's a queue, and that's about it really, or a place for people to meet.
Viewing area.
Yeah. I
mean, because it was created for light magic.
For light magic, right? Yeah.
Granted, it served a long-running entertainment use long since then.
Yeah.
So,
well, anyway, this has been a fantastic little love fest that we've been able to take part in today. Oh, look, it's Captain Jack.
Oh yeah, he walked past us.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised you didn't start speaking pirate to him. Where's Red?
You know, I think the last I heard, she hasn't been seen since like Labor Day last year.
Is she too busy making the next Pirates movie? Pirates 5 or 6, is it?
I mean, it would be the 6th one made.
Yeah.
I think at that point they'd drop the number and restart.
Yeah, reboot.
That's if it even happens.
Yeah, that's right. The guys dropped out, huh? The writers dropped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if they were ever officially announced either, so this is all kind of like, doesn't mean that those reports aren't real, just you can't really track it from an official sense is all I mean.
Yeah. You know what I love, Ian? I love that they put an anchor right here. Yeah. Just because. Let's just put an anchor right there. I think that'd be great.
And even put little barnacles on it.
Little barnacles on it, and then a little story about Lafitte, because this is Lafitte's anchor, apparently. Yeah. Lafitte's anchor, said to be from a pirate ship commanded by Jean Lafitte in the Battle of New Orleans 200 years ago. Well, with that, fresh baked. Hey, look, he's tall for a Jack Sparrow. I don't think Johnny Depp's that tall, is he? He's a short guy, isn't he?
You know, I'm not sure, but
I would bet $30, Ian, maybe 40, that after I'm done wrapping this show that we're filming right now, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna go do a construction update, and you're gonna sit right here and take in this scene.
I might grab a mint julep first.
Right? You know what?
Grab a mint julep and then sit down and just be like, I'm at Disneyland. I'm at the one on the square.
Just before I started rolling, just before I heard you let out a little sigh.
Yeah.
It was a sigh of contentment and at peace.
Especially because I can't come every week right now, so
this is where he needs to be.
So in my favorite place in the world like this, I'd be like, yep, here's all the reasons why it's the most incredible place I have ever known.
Yep. Amen to that. Preach, brother. All right, Fresh Bake, thanks for hanging out with us on our tour of Disneyland. I know we didn't hit all the lands, but I mean, you can forgive us for not going to Toontown or Critter Country, right?
And you can prep for those on another week.
Some other time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. As always, please take a minute to like the video, post it on your social networks like Facebook or Twitter, or, well, put this on your MySpace top 8, subscribe to our channel. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. We'll see you every day on Fresh Bake. So thanks for watching. Fresh Bake.
Bye.
We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!